What's up, everybody, on this beautiful Monday? This is Daryl G coming to you with another video from G-Pac TV. Yes, I just want to mention just a few things. Um, so we have some in our media, you know, like I watch the Young Turks and I watch what they say. I am a part of their audience. So I'm just wondering why they're deciding to gaslight their audience like myself when they come with things like Bernie Sanders has a bill that's going to cut the taxes back down from the tax law that Donald Trump put in. And I think we all know that even if Bernie Sanders has a bill, he is not going to fight for it. He has proven that to us. So to put up a video saying that Bernie Sanders is going to fight to lower the tax rate, I just have to admit that it has to be gaslighting. Because even if Bernie Sanders puts that bill up, it gets struck down. See, Bernie Sanders wants a certain rate that Joe Biden does not want. And what's going to happen is Bernie Sanders is going to go with what Joe Biden wants. So when you are giving your audience information about something that is not even going to happen, just listen. Just listen.
Sanders is not done trying to change this flawed economic system. In fact, he has his sights set on ensuring that the corporate tax rate get reversed from 21% to 35%. This is what happened during the Trump administration through his tax cuts for the rich.
21 set to 35%. Does anybody believe that Joe Biden or Joe Manchin or any of them are going to agree to that? Okay, even if you believe that, or even if you don't believe that, Sanders will have to actually play hardball in order to make that happen. Actually put pressure, actually withhold his own votes for certain things to get what he wants if he's going to wield power. He has proven to us so far that he's not willing to wield that power. So go ahead.
So the first of Sanders's two bills would reverse a key element of the Trump GOP tax law by raising the corporate tax rate from 21% to 35%, where it was prior to the 2017 tax cut.
Sounds
the legislation,
good.
titled the Corporate Tax Dodging Prevention Act, aptly named, would also bar companies from shifting their profits offshore to avoid U.S. taxes. So some of you might think, oh, is that all he's doing? He's just going to reverse it back to what it was before Trump? No. He's not done yet. In fact, the second bill, the 99.5% Act, would take aim at the soaring wealth of the top 0.5% of the United States households. The legislation, Sanders' office explained, would impose a 45% tax rate on estates worth $3.5 million and a 65% tax rate on the value of an estate worth over $1 billion.
I mean, that sounds amazing. It really does sound amazing. But unfortunately, that is not going to happen at all. So to portray it like as if something Bernie Sanders is about to even fight to make happen, he's not even going to put up the necessary fight. He's not even going to wield the necessary power in order to make that happen. It just sounds good. But okay, continue.
Senator Sanders had to say about his bills. He said the second reconciliation bill will deal with long-term structural problems that we've had in this country long before the pandemic. We need to build millions of units for low-income and affordable housing. We must address the crisis of climate change and transform our energy system away from fossil fuel. And when we do those things, deal with infrastructure, deal with climate, we can in fact create many, many millions of good paying jobs. Okay. And he's absolutely right about that. So he mentions reconciliation because clearly in order to pass this type of legislation, he would need to do it with a simple majority in the Senate. And since he is the chair of the Senate Budget Committee, he does have the ability to do that. Now, the only thing...
All he needs is a simple majority, as she just said. And since he is the budget director, he does have the ability to do that. What ability? I'm not understanding what ability she is talking about. What ability is he going to use? If he does have an ability to do it, he's not going to use it. So she is making it look like as if this is something Bernie Sanders is going to get done when we all know that he's not going to get it done. That he's not even going to put the necessary fight to get it done. So I am an audience of the TYT. So why would you be gaslighting your audience? We know this is not going to happen. But continue.
Genk, that might kind of stand in the way here is the fact that Biden does not agree with reversing the corporate tax rate back to 35%.
Okay, oh, there she goes. There it is. After you act as if this is something that Bernie Sanders is about to get done, you just said Biden does not agree with that 35%. And we know that Bernie Sanders is going to do what Biden says. Bernie Sanders is not going to wield his power to do anything different. We all know that. He's already demonstrated that to us. Continue.
He wants to approach this with a middle ground of 28%, but Bernie Sanders seems to be pretty effective in persuading Biden to move to the left on some of these issues. Hopefully...
Listen, am I living under a rock? Maybe I'm living under a rock here. What did Bernie Sanders persuade Joe Biden to do? What do we have? It wasn't with $15 minimum wage. Nobody persuaded Joe Biden to do anything. And Joe Biden said he agreed with that. And Bernie Sanders couldn't persuade him on that. And he said he agreed with it. So what did he persuade Joe Biden to do? You remember when Bernie Sanders was saying $2,000 for the check? And then he started saying $1,400. It seems to me Joe Biden persuaded him to give us less. He didn't persuade Joe Biden to do a damn thing. All right, continue.
He's able to do that with this legislation as well.
Well, you're a little kinder to Bernie than I am, but I'm happy to be back on the same team on this issue. So let's first of all point out.
Well, I guess Genk has to come save the day.
His proposal and Biden's proposal. So
I guess he has to come save the day because what Anna just said before was a completely gaslighting of the audience. I am trying to figure out what did Bernie Sanders persuade Joe Biden to do. Like I said, Bernie Sanders was saying $2,000 and then he went to $1,400. It seems to me Joe Biden swayed him to give us less. That's the only persuasion that went on. Maybe okay.
The tax rates for corporations used to be at 35%. Biden says we're going to bring them back to 28%. That is not a correct sentence. No, you would be bringing them back to 35%. No, you're saying, in essence, you're in favor of a giant tax cut for corporations.
Exactly.
You do not want to undo a lot of the Trump tax cuts. So that's Biden's position. And by the way, everybody in the press should be super clear about that because that's a fact. There's no disputing that. So Bernie, on the other hand, would actually bring it back to 35%. So that's very good news. And I love the names of these bills. Corporate Tax Dodging Prevention Act. Well, that is what it is. It's great framing.
See, I really don't give a damn about the name of a bill that's never going to come to fruition. That's what they apparently give a damn about. Oh, that was a great name. It was the Get Back Everything You Were Taking bill. But whatever's in the bill is never going to come to a realization. Bernie is never going to fight for it. He's never going to use his power as the budget chair, as Anna mentioned earlier. He's not even going to wield his power as he sat and did and pushed this movement all these years. Get into a certain thing of power and don't even wield it. What can you say about that? But you have to speak truth to power. He hasn't persuaded or done nothing and didn't use his real power that he had. All right, continue. As you see, Genk had to come in and save the narrative for Anna. But then he still got the smoke coming out too. I love the names. Nobody cares about the names, sir. I'm sorry.
And it's true, and everybody should call it that. And the other part of that bill that prevents them from hiding their money offshore, I guarantee you, if you had a national debate about that, even Republican voters, maybe even especially Republican voters, would totally agree with us. The only people who don't agree with us are corporate Republicans and corporate Democrats, which unfortunately is the great majority of Washington. So this will not pass. We would be super lucky to get Biden's version at 28%. We'll come back to that as a matter of politics in a second, but I want to give more credit first. So the For the 99.5% Act, again, another excellent name.
Give more credit to who?
Is really important. Look, in the old days, you remember, some of you might remember,
he said he want to give more credit. How about we wait to give credit to see if Bernie is going to actually push for something? So who is getting credit for something that no one is going to get or see? For a bill that is not going to happen. So the credit is for coming up with a great name for the bill, coming up with a spanky name for the bill. That's it. All right, continue.
Be a liberal Republican like 20, 30 years ago, right? And I would have bought into the idea, taxing billionaires at these huge rates is outrageous. No, since then I've learned, I've actually done the research, and these rates produce incredibly great economies, best economy in literally in world history, when we used to have these same.
Once again, it's not going to happen.
Slightly higher.
So continue.
But that number only applies to every dollar above $1 billion. Okay, you already have $1 billion in that year that you made. You're never going to run out of that money. And you still get to keep some of that money above $1 billion, but the rest is to help others to have equality of opportunity. That is a winning argument that the whole country will agree with. Not necessarily the whole country, but a great majority of the country, including huge numbers of Republican voters. The
Okay.
problem is corporate Democrats don't want to do it either. And so my slight
Nope.
critique of Bernie in this case, even though I love these bills and I'm giving him overall huge credit for it, is that keeping it real, he knows these are not going to pass.
So why does he get any credit?
Like the $15 minimum wage being attached to a must-pass bill.
So why should he get any credit if he knows they're not going to pass? So what you just admitted to is that Bernie knows that he's blowing smoke up everybody's ass. He knows it's not going to pass, so he is just blowing smoke up everybody's ass. And you are facilitating this whole shit. You are protecting this. Because you're here saying, I'm going to give him credit for something that he just knows nothing, that it's not going to pass. He's not even going to fight for it to pass. Continue.
And the bill actually is going to pass. That's when he pulls back a little bit.
Exactly.
But that's when he should use his power the most.
But he is not going
on
to.
these statement bills that he knows isn't going to pass.
Exactly.
I'm just being honest, okay?
You should.
That's the reality of politics.
So are you saying that it's not going to pass simply because there are corporate Democrats that are going to be an issue, even if he tries to pass the reconciliation? I think that's a fair point.
Yes.
There's a fair point. And honestly, what Bernie...
See, she had to come save face now. She had to come save face now. You see, she had to come save face now. Are you saying that because of the... Isn't that what we've been saying? You didn't know that those establishment Democrats are going to vote against all of that, and the pressure needed to get them to vote for it, Bernie Sanders is not going to apply that pressure that you know, Anna, as well as everyone else knows. So when they gaslight their audience, they're doing it to protect Bernie Sanders, who he just admitted knows that none of these bills are going to pass. So I'm just wondering, what was the reason that Bernie Sanders put out a bill that he knows is not going to pass, that he knows he's not going to fight for? And what is the reason for them blowing smoke up their audience ass, and they know? So I'm just asking, because I think it's very clear about what Bernie has chosen to do. And I think it's very clear about what people like AOC has chosen to do. AOC is not fighting for progressive moves anymore. She has made a choice. If you're not paying attention, these folks have made a choice to protect their career. They're not actually fighting for the stuff that they claim that they're fighting for. And that is just the truth. The truth is in the pudding. And when it's time for them to come up for their votes, that's where they hold their power. Did you see what Joe Manchin did the last time? He held his power to get American people less. The progressives and Bernie Sanders voted right along with the establishment. They didn't hold anything for what they claimed they wanted. Not one thing. They went right along without a fight. They didn't even threaten that, hey, wait. If you don't put the $15 minimum wage, you might not get all of our votes here. They didn't even give up a threat. Even if it was an empty threat, they didn't even try at all. Unbelievable. So when these folks run this smokescreen for these people, it has to be pointed out. So what do you think? Let's have a conversation. Like, dislike, tell me what you want. Tell me, how do you feel about our so-called progressive media now running smoke screens for progressive politicians, because that's what they are. That's what they're proving to be. Bernie Sanders and the squad, they are not willing to use their power to do anything. 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 Remember that. Like, dislike, let's have a convo.